Alright guys, we're out here working on the Turbo S. What happened, Josh?
So here I was, shocker open, Tackett Creek Bounty Hills, just letting it eat, and a kablooey. Actually, it was the gravel road got me.
Just driving down the road at, 30, 40. And she let go, huh?
Oh!
So if you guys didn't check that out,
Something's wrong in here, you know, transmission.
something up in there is broken. Somewhere around there. We
Can't
figured,
see with the light, you know.
yeah, well they can. So.
Blinded me. That's about to be a glitter bomb.
So here comes the transmission fluid.
Oh no!
The fluid looks decent. The metal doesn't look that good. We drained the metal out of the oil.
What's your glitter?
Oof.
Oh baby. Oh, more glitter.
Why is it so clear?
Because it was new.
Oh, shouldn't have changed the oil. That's what you did wrong.
I put AM's oil in it.
My God, there's a little bit of metal on the
Oh my
plug.
goodness. It's fine.
That's rough.
You'll have that on these big jobs.
I think we found the problem. Definitely in the transmission. There was a slight hope that maybe something in the clutching was locking up.
Or maybe the front diff.
Or maybe the front diff, since he's spooled and
All
you know, it just all spins at the same time, or it's supposed to spin at the same time, we'll call it.
Can you get me a rag?
Yeah. So anyways, not gonna do much of a like how-to video on pulling the trans, but we are gonna bring you guys along for the journey
The carnage.
of the carnage that we find inside of it. I'm sure you guys are just as curious as us as I throw that rag right in the drain pan.
Right in the glitter pan.
So yeah, we've got the secondary pulled off already and continue to pull the clutch apart. All of these nonsense. Get the strongest axles in the planet pulled out of there.
Great. The clickiest axles on the planet.
And then, I don't really know, but we'll figure it out as we go. All right, Josh, what happened? We had some hiccups last week.
I was missing a T60. Oh, you're not camera shy. Oh, are you? Hi, say thanks for watching.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Say subscribe. That's a big word.
Hi.
We'll stick with hi.
Body. The body. Ew.
What you got, Mia?
All right, anyways.
I was missing a Torx T60, but meanwhile I broke 3 bolts off of my loose RCV drive shaft bolts. So now I gotta order a new one of them things. It's great. At least it won't be rusty for a day.
So we've had some hiccups. The primary bolt on a Turbo S, I don't know if it's all of them.
I think it's a few of them.
Who knows, because they changed the clutches because they're like a bomb or something. So it's hard to say what bolt. Maybe all of them, but it's a T60, which you guys don't know how big that is. It's
That's a 70.
This is 70. Josh bought both because he didn't want to have this issue. Thing's massive. Turns out me and Josh both had T55s, but not a T60. Well, guys, it's out. Any more major hiccups other than the ones we talked about? Not really, right?
No.
Clutch popped off.
Everything was fine.
Pretty simple, really. I mean,
It's really not that bad, actually.
so this is the RCV drive shaft. It looks like this on this end, and these bolts, they're little tiny bolts that bolt this piece to this like yoke on the trans, and they're really small, and they're actually like prone to loosening too, right?
Yeah, those are the bolts they tell you to check before every ride. And they were, you know, I broke them with a 1/4 inch wrench. A quarter, you know, it's about this big.
So just backing them out, my guess is obviously the threads are exposed on the bolt, which
I had to tighten them a few times too, so I mean.
which is a pretty questionable design to say the least, leaving the thread of the bolt exposed for.
Well, they go in this way.
Oh,
But the other side
is exposed
to metal
yeah.
anyway.
So anyways, that's what broke off inside of the other piece. Super sucks because 2 or 3 broke off.
3. And
Three.
It's $100. I think it's $180, $200 piece. And you got to get the whole thing unless I can drill them out.
Yeah, maybe we could easy out them or drill them out or something, but we'll see. We're gonna get this trans broke apart now.
You say night night.
Bye-bye.
All
Say
right.
mwah.
Bye.
Oh,
What you doing over there, Mr. Cameraman?
Hammering. No, the stud comes off with it.
Straight up. Make sure all your components.
Where'd that supposed to go?
Uh-oh.
Oh no. I would guess like this. In there. Up against here.
Sheesh. This train is a goner.
Why?
Because I'm working on it.
This is the second time, so yeah, I mean let's tell the viewers that. Maybe some don't know, but you've been inside of this before, yeah?
Just once.
And did what gear reduction? Do you even know?
Supposedly 33%, but it's a 2567 tooth or 2765. I don't know, one of those two numbers. I always mix up the 5 and the 7.
That was a long time ago. I mean, it was literally one ride in, I think you did that.
I had like 8 miles on this thing, or maybe that was the Yamaha before I did gear reduction too, because for some reason low range is high.
Not in the old Can-am. You just gotta change the diff in 4 miles. Alright, we're gonna tear this thing apart a little further. See what we find. Oh no, the truth lies within.
Help me, Mom.
Alright, here we go.
I'm scared.
Where are you going with it? Turns out not blown.
Oh no, I'm still scared.
Oh. Hopefully we find Carnage.
What's that?
What?
It looks okay. This is not good. It can't be good because there's metal down there.
Well, we seen what your fluid looked like.
There's a big chunk too.
Where?
What's that from? Well, that looks good to me. Slap her back together. Sheet.
Wow, that's interesting.
Blown diff off-road, I guess.
No, it's this gear. What's this? The pinion.
The main drive
Spin
gear.
the pinion. Spin it. That way. It's the pinion's stripped. I would say, right? I don't know. That's what it.
Don't feel good. I'll tell you that much.
I kind of assume it wouldn't feel like that. This is what I'm talking about. Let me show these people.
How do I change gear? Not that.
Here. This is what I meant. He grabbed this guy
It's
here.
not in park though.
Yeah, but I don't think if it was in park, it would just
Spin.
I'm spinning like crunch. Oh, we're free now. Oh, now we're locked.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't think. That sounds a lot like stripped teeth to me, doesn't it?
Ooh.
I don't know. That's the only part we can't see, and it is kind of sealed. The metal shavings are coming from that little hole. I bet you that's where the problem is. I mean,
Too many lows to reverses, I guess.
huh. Problem is we gotta take all this out to get to that. Oh no.
Probably a good
Alright,
idea.
well, we've got to fully disassemble this thing, so we're going to clean off a good surface to set up parts, and then we'll get back with you guys. They do be relaxing.
Relax. Which way is the blown gears?
That way.
BTF off-road. Ooh.
Carnage.
Oh my God. Look at this.
Wow.
Bearing feels good.
That'll ride.
Holy
What is it hitting?
The one good tooth left.
Oh, dude, the case is chooched.
Oh, that's kind of depressing.
Might ride, though.
Let us know in the comments if you think it's fine. By the time you see this, I'll probably have sent it.
It's probably already wheeling Windrock by now.
Oh my God.
How do you get to that? You can't? It's this whole half, yeah?
Well, this piece comes out.
Yikes.
Guys, this somehow still drove onto the trailer.
Yeah, how does that make any sense?
It does make sense on why everything like locked up, which probably means my diffs would probably hurt.
That was already hurt anyways, let's be real.
Whatever. Got an extra ring of
So,
pinion in the garage.
Like, I know that's the pinion, right? Or is that the snorkel gear? Do you know?
No, but I probably should Google it so I don't look like an idiot. I'm just tearing it apart, put it back together.
Yeah, we're gonna see what gear that actually is. It's probably like a common one to fail in these transmissions, I'd assume, but I mean that's got nothing to do. We thought that maybe there's a potential that like his shifter wasn't fully perfect, but like how that would have nothing to do with it. How could it, right?
Literally nothing to do with this the whole time. Unless it...
Like if it wasn't into gear fully or something, you'd think it would have been one of these gears, you know. At least that's the way I would think of it.
How about the shift dogs or the drum broke? But I guess not.
It's amazing that all of this looks mint, though. I mean, that's pretty cool, at least. But we're going to do a little research, see what gear it is, and get back to you guys. Update. We are currently battling to get this
Rusted
yoke,
constant velocity off. Again.
this yoke off of here. We got the nut off, but this yoke is just seized onto the shaft itself. Currently contemplating if this trans is even worth saving. Alright, update is we got the yoke off, as you can see there. That was a nightmare. We had to beat it off with a sledgehammer. It was rusted onto the shaft, basically. As you guys can see, the case is chewed up pretty gnarly there. When you spin this shaft, it's actually hitting the case. Yeah. The teeth of the gear is, and you can actually see, which I don't think you guys will be able to see, but that shaft is bent.
And probably for good reason, you know.
Yeah, so who knows if it bent? Like if one of the gears failed, you know, that one or that one, and then they locked together and then it bent the shaft, or the shaft bent and then because the shaft was bent, it wallered out the gears. Not really sure on that one, but I mean, that's the Carnage. Looks like the best way to go about it. We're gonna go on a computer and pull apart the parts diagram and see. But first thoughts is just buying half the case, maybe the whole transmission. Depends on the price between the two, basically. I mean,
yeah, pretty much. I guess it just depends.
We gotta look at parts and prices and find the best way.
Prices.
But
I mean, half the trans side looked good. The whole right hand side with all of, well, I would say 95% of the gears, just not the two big ones.
Yeah. So we're gonna go look at parts, and we'll probably be back with you guys in a week or two, maybe. I don't know. Whenever we get,
When I forgot about how all of this goes back together and where everything went.
Yeah. Whenever we get the decision on and the parts that we're putting this back together with, we'll pick back up with you guys there. All right, guys. So a week later, pretty much exactly, and here's the option that Josh chose.
I have no idea what I'm doing again. So, perfect.
So got a pretty good deal on a brand new trans. So decided it was pretty much worth it to go that route because of the deal you got.
Yep. And no longer running RCV axles. Stay tuned for what's coming. And I got a gear reduct this thing. No miles. Brand new.
Yeah, so I think we showed you guys in the last video, but the case was pretty chewed up on the other trans, and the pinion and snorkel gear, all that stuff was wrecked. So by the time you priced it all out and everything, with the deal he got on this trans, it was pretty much worth just going this route because now he's got spare everything, you know. I mean, not that you need spare, but next time, if anything lets go again,
He says.
you know, you've got cases. Like if you blow a different gear, you've still got cases now. Like, who knows? It just made more sense that way. But we gotta unfortunately tear that trans apart to put the gear reduction off of these gears into there. And it's been a while since either of us have done it, so that sucks. But we get this thing torn apart and swap some gears over. I don't know where this fits into the video. It's been a roller coaster of putting machines back together in separate videos and weirdness, but got the trans back in, and we also got...
Hey, babe.
What do you
What's
got?
up, guys? I got this fancy SuperATV X300, and it says an axle built for the wild. Guess we're gonna see.
We're gonna find out.
I'm gonna find out. Also, got a Rhino drive shaft in this thing. I hope that's also built for the wild, because it's spooled and about to find out and it's gonna learn.
Getting the turbo wash thrown back together here. Got the wheels and tires on. Got the new SuperATV X300s. They're the ones that are designed to like twist or whatever. Yeah. Billy actually ran them right when he first got his rig and had
them in Moab, right?
Yeah, he ran them for a little while. He had pretty good luck out of them, in my opinion, as an outsider looking in. I know he bent one when he rolled, but a lot of our stuff gets bent. I mean, I think some of the RCVs even get bent. Not 100% sure on that. I've heard people talk about it. I don't think any of ours were or are. But anyways, nothing actually ever let go, so seems like a pretty good bang for your buck. But what was your gripe against the RCV? I mean,
my dislikes, they rusted. I mean, they're the strongest, no doubt, probably the strongest out there. Which is, if that's what you're after, that's full built race buggies or race cars for one race, my opinion. They popped, clicked, noisy as can be on like everything. Just straight loading it off the trailer. I know it doesn't ever go on camera, but this thing sounds like it's broken every time I drove it. So that, and the fact that literally one inner cage to build, to like replace on the RCV is $100, or I break a X300 and I pay $100 and I get a whole new axle. So I guess I'm kind of going with a different theory here, as I've now blown a couple diffs and I just broke a transmission. So I'm kind of trying to not, I guess I wouldn't say weaker driveline, but the theory with these axles is it is like a shock absorber to some degree. So hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, everybody would rather break an axle.
I would rather break an axle than do what I did in my trans, but at the same time, I want them strong enough to still pretty much do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go with a different theory, and maybe this axle that twists will, if I twist one, I twist one, whatever. But supposedly that's only what happens to them. They twist and bend, they don't actually break, from what I've heard.
The axle game is definitely a fine line of one that
Yeah.
is strong enough, but still a weak point. Like, that's kind of, as an outsider looking in, I think it's a pretty good theory. Just seeing how many of these diffs for the Turbo S's are blowing. And you're spooled now, but who knows if you'll stay spooled forever.
I mean, the end goal would be to not have to be spooled.
Because when you're driving on the roads and doing like family trips and just riding,
Just in general, it's nice to steer.
and the spool kind of sucks for that. But I think these would be a good weak point if you were running a.
But
I don't know. I mean, there's people breaking the regular RS1 diffs
Yeah,
with
just
Rhino
regular
2.0s and stuff.
too,
So who knows? But it'd be cool to see these axles get tested. They're a little bit more budget friendly. They're still pretty penny, but the RCVs are ridiculous, and they don't have much of a warranty behind them.
I've had terrible customer service. I mean, I read it on the forums and the Facebook stuff, and I'm not alone.
No, and same with me. I mean, mine have been good so far, but I had a pretty bad run-in in the beginning and was treated pretty about it.
But they are extremely strong.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't broken one.
Extremely strong. Nobody's broken RCV that I've ever even seen. Granted, we're not rock bouncer guys either. I'm sure some of them have done that, but that's a different world.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm trying to be the fine line of hit maybe a couple rock bouncer-ish climbs. I'm not one of those guys, that's for sure. But I want to be strong enough to be able to do most of the hardcore trails, and that's what I like to be, is the hardcore trail rider. Do I hit a couple hills and stuff? Yeah, sure. But I'm not a rock bouncer. So I'm trying to be more trail orientated, meaning I also switched to the Rhino drive shaft because it would have cost me more money to rebuild my RCV one than to buy this one.
Yeah, I mean, all your RCV joints were flinging grease and leaking. You had multiple bolts break off and like the yokes and everything when we were taking it apart.
Every 1/4 inch 12-point bolt on the entire drive shaft was loose, and I'm just overplaying that game to keep tightening it.
Yeah, so they were literally loose. Some of them were loose coming out, and then just like where it was all corroded and rusty, back out a little bit, it would bind up and then snap the bolt with a little tiny wrench.
Yeah,
So it's like,
I'm just trying to go back towards more of a trail-oriented style car. Before, the opinion was I want the baddest, strongest stuff there is. And now I think I'm taking a step the other way. Because with the family and all of the stuff going on in my life right now, it's a lot easier for me to just change an axle or something versus spend a lot of time doing everything I just did. So that's kind of what my theory is. Maybe I'm not going to like it when I'm out trail riding, but we'll see. That's the whole point of this. Plus, more content. I'm running all SuperATV driveline. And we just went from all RCV, so there's a comparison.
yeah, that'll be a cool comparison in itself. I've got a question, and I've seen people talk about this. I don't know enough about it because I don't have a razor, but what's your opinion on your ring and pinion blowing because of the spool
I think the ring
on the road?
I think the ring gear's fine. Oh, you mean in the trans?
Yeah.
The snorkel gear?
Yeah, the
pinion
trans.
gear?
With this whole video.
Well, I think
Because
that
it's
was
still that same video.
I
mean,
think it was already hurt from something.
really?
I don't think it just stripped that whole gear out from being on the road. We were going 40. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but 40 at the wrong ratio, like I don't know. I'm just, you start to think about it, and I don't
yeah,
know.
but it's within that 10%. What's the difference if you're riding on the road with it in 4-wheel drive regular?
That's what I said. I don't know enough about
Doesn't
these
it just
things
still
when they're
spin?
different ratios. I didn't even know it was a different ratio until you blew your trans, and then I started hearing about it. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, the front drives at a different drive than the rear, which is might be why us running a spool for like rock crawling works so well with these, because the front will drag the rear.
Yeah.
And like that works well for like full-size world where they underdrive or overdrive the axles to help pivot and steer and climb up and over stuff. That's a full-size rig thing. I didn't think it was a race car, like desert style of ride.
Yeah, I guess. And then to your point of saying, what do you do? 'Cause you're saying it's always geared that way. Just now it's locked in 4-wheel drive when you're on the road, so now you're locked with that different ratio from front to rear. But yeah, I mean in 4-wheel drive on the road, which granted, people
open.
probably just put it in 2-wheel drive when they're on the road. But I don't know that everybody
They
would
don't
do that.
for the races though, like where they go to asphalt to dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a theory I wanted to mention because I've heard
It's definitely a questionable thing, that's for sure.
if it happens again with the spool or somebody else with a spool, then maybe it would be leaning more towards that theory. But I mean, you are the first one that's done that, and I think everybody drives on the road to freaking tack it and just all over, you know.
I know people complain about the spools boiling over fluid when they're riding like roads and stuff. So I mean,
But you've never had that.
I never have had that, but I also don't really ride a ton of road.
Yeah.
I honestly think I've heard it before. I dare say it, but I think it's the Nittos. I mean, Nittos 8.2 transmissions just in our group.
Yeah, it's so hard. There's so many variables. It's so hard to know what's causing it. Because both times you guys were spooled. It's
I'm
like
just
no
saying
weak point.
it's a
Both
question.
times you're running Nittos.
Sometimes there's noticeable traction differences with this tire versus the Roxxzilla,
Yeah.
but not all the time. Just on that certain type of rock or possibly pavement, they're sticky.
Agreed. Anyways, I think that's about it. You got anything else to add? We're gonna get back to you guys when we get this thing driving and make sure it's all legit, which shall be shortly.
It'll be me smiling or me crying.
So if you want to see a grown man weeping, that might happen in the next clip. We're hoping not, though. All right, moment of truth. See if this transmission works. It's extremely windy, so sorry in advance for that.
Feel a vibration. Rain.
What do you mean?
Feel something up here.
I mean, that drive shaft bolt's not tight. Well, what? It might just need to be cinched down a little bit. You know, the splines obviously have a little play. So the only thing that he's missing, he didn't want to put a roll pin through to connect the drive shaft to the diff. So it's got a 1/4-inch bolt in there for now. You got to get the right size bolt. So it's wedged through there, so it can't fall off, but it's not tightened down yet. Got to run to the store and get one. So he said he's got a little vibration. Could be that. Could be the splines on the diff.
Maybe it's because I'm on asphalt.
I mean, everything does weird stuff bound up on asphalt.
But it moves. It sounds okay.
It sounds awfully quiet.
Yeah. What's the deal?
No clankety clanks. Should probably like drive it. Just to make sure, like low, high. What was that?
see if my cable adjustments are okay. Everything up, do, you know, a little bolt check after I moved it around a little bit and see what happens. Take it straight to Windrock. He chuckles. Razor is in danger.
Oh, bye-bye. Bye-bye.